Hello, my name's Tanya and this is my channel Just Let Me Sew. Welcome back if you are returning and welcome along if you are new. So I wanted to start today's video by first of all saying a huge, massive thank you to everyone that has subscribed to my channel. I hit 2,000 subscribers last week, which I really was so blown away by. I'm really grateful to every single person that has subscribed. It's funny. I've heard other people, vloggers, talking about it when you hit a sort of milestone, and yeah, it's just lovely to think that people are watching my vlogs and subscribing and enjoying the content that I am putting out there. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. It's wonderful to have you along with me. I was having a think about if there's anything I could do to sort of mark the 2,000 milestone, and I know Rachel from the French Seams did a sort of Q&A vlog when she hit one of her milestones, so I was wondering if anybody wanted me to do anything like that. If you had any questions that you wanted to ask me that you'd sort of wondered about, like how I got into sewing or anything like that, within reason, if you would like me to do something like that, just pop your question in the comment down below, and I'll see what everyone wants me to do for that. So yeah, again, thank you so much if you have subscribed. It's wonderful. Yeah, anyway, enough waffling about that for now. What I wanted to also do off the back of that was to say a couple of shout outs and thank yous to people that have supported me. So first of all, I want to say a big thank you to Sam over at Sequin Girly Creates, because she is a really supportive person in the sewing community. If you haven't checked out her channel, do go along. She's got lots of vlogs that have got really excellent detailed content in them. She does some really helpful reviews on sewing patterns. She's tried lots of different fabric shops as well, which she recommends in her vlogs. But one of the vlogs that I watched just as I was about to start out doing this channel was about how to set up a sewing vlog, what you should do when taking on YouTube channel. So thank you to Sam, because that did help me, and it helped to give me a push to actually get started, because it was something I'd thought about for doing for a long time, but I just never quite had the confidence to go for it. The other person I wanted to do a thank you to was my very dear friend Nikki, who also was very encouraging for me to get going on YouTube. Sometimes you just need that extra person behind you to say go for it, and bless her, she doesn't sew, but she does also sometimes watch this channel. So if you are watching, Nikki, thank you very much for the push. Right, so today I wanted to talk about my recent makes and what I have been up to. And I have managed to make a few things. So my last vlog, I was sharing some of the fabrics that I had recently bought, and some of them were jersey fabrics, which I do like doing because they're quite quick and easy to sew up, and also quite useful to have in my wardrobe. So the first one I will talk about is the one that I am wearing. I will attach some photos of it, and this was inspired by the solar tee. So I mentioned that I had seen Kath from Made by Kath Craft wearing the solar tee, and I love the look of it, and I had a similar sort of self-drafted pattern in my pattern stash with a drop sleeve, and I thought, well, I could just add a ruffle to that similar to the solar tee, and I lengthened the sleeve a little bit because that's a bit more comfortable for me, and I really love it. So again, I'll put photos in because it's a bit hard to see while I've got my cardigan on because it's so cold. So I finished it off with a very thin little neckband, and it's quite a loose fitting t-shirt, quite comfortable, and a decent sized ruffle. To do the ruffle, I just measured the width of the sleeve, so where the drop sleeve finished, about there, measured that width, and then I times it by 2.25. I found a calculation on the internet of how to do that, and the total length of it, sorry, the width of it rather, or the depth of it, is about 5 inches, I think. Again, I'll leave the photo on so you can have a good look at it. But I love it. I really love the feel of the t-shirt. It's really relaxed, easy to wear. And I also really like the colour. So this made me think about, you hear a lot of people saying that they've had their colours done. And I did look into doing it, but the sort of consultation service that you can get online was a bit beyond my price budget. But I was just wondering if perhaps that is something one day I will look into. Maybe I'll see if there's a sort of free thing you can sort of piece together yourself online to try and work out what shades go for you. I think it's all done by like seasons, isn't it? It'd be like a summer or a winter and that kind of thing. If you've had your colours done, do let me know down below what you think of it, and if it's useful, if it's worked for you. Perhaps you found a sort of free service that you could piece it together by yourself, or perhaps you say no, definitely pay for it, it's worth the professional advice. So for this one, the neckband is a little bit wider, and it's more of a boat neck style, which does make it a little bit trickier to do the neckband. It will, if it were in a stiffer fabric, that would have stood sort of upright, proud. But because it's quite a nice loose drapey fabric, it does sit against the shoulders a bit better. The fabric is from Goldhawk Road, can't remember which shop, Tony's Textiles, Goldhawk Road, which is in London, I'm afraid. I don't know if they sell online. I can have a look, and if they have got an online shop, I will link it down below. They said it was a cotton jersey, but I think it's probably got a bit of poly in it just from the feel of it, and it's quite thin. It's not, you know, like a heavyweight cotton jersey like the one I'm going to show you in a minute, but I love it, really like it. I did a little what do you call it, sorry, I can't even think, straight front and then dipped hem at the back for sort of the extra coverage and a nice little finish detail on it as well. So that was this one that I made up. Following on from this one, I made another version, and this one I used a lovely lilac animal print cotton jersey from First for Fabrics. So cute little animal print. I put a little label in it. I made this, which is a little rosy cheeks label. The neckband, I did a bit wider on this one, and I also brought the neck in. I think I brought it in by about an inch on each side, because I felt this one, it worked well in this drapey fabric, but probably not in a cotton jersey, which is a bit heavier. The ruffle, also a little happy accident. I decided, oh yeah, I know the calculation, I don't need to look it up again. And instead of doing 2.25, I did 2.75. So it just means there's a little bit more gathered in it, but that's fine. And again, a long full length sleeve. And I did that dipped hem at the back as well. And I love it. I've been wearing this lots and lots. Finished it off with the twin needle. I used to have real trouble doing the twin needle, which I do on the hem, on the sleeve, and the bottom hem as well. I always had trouble doing that. I would find that the stitching would always pop. Never really on the neckband, it was always on the hem. And I've read all sorts of tutorials on how to do it, but none of them really seemed to solve the problem for me until I found somewhere, and I don't even remember where it was, I'm afraid, a suggestion to increase your stitch length. So I do it sort of 3 or 3.5 is my stitch length on my machine, and that seems to have fixed the problem. I did have to go back over about 3 t-shirts a few weeks ago to do some repairing of all those stitches that had popped, and so far I haven't had any issues with those. So I think that might be the key for me, for my machine, is to increase the stitch length to about 3.5. So those are my 2 t-shirts, inspired by the Solar tee with the nice ruffle on the dropped sleeve. Another t-shirt that I made up, which I can't show you in person because it's in the wash because I've been wearing it so much, but I will insert a picture of me wearing it up here, is using a rib knit cotton from Lamazi Fabrics that I picked up when they had their, I think it was when they had their special offer on over sort of Boxing Day sales. I think that's when I got it. So it's on a white background with these purpley blue splodges. What I would say about this fabric is it is very stretchy. Rib knits are usually quite a bit stretchier than your usual jersey, but this one is very stretchy, and it also feels a bit finer than the usual rib knit. I said in my previous vlog that I was planning to make a Trudy turtleneck tee with it, but taking off the turtleneck and just widening the neck a little bit. And the reason I chose that pattern was because it has quite a bit of negative ease. So if I can find the picture, I'll include one of the first ever Trudy turtleneck I made, which was in a green and black spotty cotton jersey. And I made it just as the pattern suggested with the negative ease, and it came up really quite tight. So I thought, perfect, that will do really well for this rib knit. It's got a good amount of negative ease. But even with that pattern, it came up really, really quite loose. I had to take in 1 inch from each side on the bodice and also on the sleeve, because the sleeve was really very loose. And I think for rib knit, you want it to feel a bit more secure. Yes, so I did that. It took in quite a bit. But I'm pleased with how it came out, particularly pleased with the neckband. I think I had to even reduce the sort of ratio for the neckband. I think they say times your neckband width by 0.8, I think. I did it, I think, about 0.6. I went even tighter than that, and I'm glad I did because it sits nice and flush. That said, I did stretch out the hem, the bottom hem, a little bit. I used a walking foot when I was doing my twin needle along the bottom, but it did still stretch out. I've since then seen that using a little bit of interfacing on a very stretchy fabric on your hem can help with that, to stop it stretching out. It is quite long, so if it really bothered me, I could cut that off and try and do it again, steam it back into shape and then put some interfacing on it, but I'm not sure if it bothers me that much because I usually tuck my t-shirts in anyway. So those are 3 t-shirts that I've made, so I'm pleased I've got those made up, and they are already being used a lot, so very pleased with those. The next thing that I made up was a sort of toile, another toile of the lyra shirt dress. I have made up the lyra shirt dress before, and I didn't really like the fit across the chest, so I will insert a photo of me wearing it, but when I am sitting sort of slouched, it's fine, but as soon as I sort of sit upright or sort of move my arms, it really pulls across the chest and I get a bit of gaping at the buttons. When I first shared about that dress in one of my earlier, I think it was my first vlog that I did, some people said that they had had issues with the fit, and someone also messaged me on Instagram to say that they'd had to do a strategic button at the gaping. So when I look closer at the pattern, I could see that the arm side is really scooped in. So I took a pattern, which pattern did I use? It might have been just an old Vogue one that I know fits me really well. The arm is really comfortable, and I laid the lyra on top of it, and I could see that there was really quite a big difference in the shape of that arm side. So I did a couple of alterations. I am not a fitting expert by any means, but I just looked at the difference between the 2 patterns, and I added about 1 centimetre to the arm side just to bring it in a little bit more, just to see if that helped. And then I made up a shirt using some fabric from my stash just to see if that helped. I didn't want to do more than 1 centimetre because I think it's best just to do small changes each time rather than one big one. So I made up a shirt with those changes. I'll see if I've got any photos. I don't know if I've taken any pictures of this yet because I haven't shared it on, I don't think I've shared it on Instagram yet. But it's using this poly fabric that I got from Pound Fabrics years and years ago, I think like 5. Sorry, my phone keeps running out of storage, so I have to keep going through and trying to delete things. So where was I? Right, so I bought this years ago from Pound Fabrics, about 6 meters of it, I think, because I just loved it so much. and I think it might have solved the fit issue. It may have. So I think I'm good to go on the lyra again, I hope. Just added a little label there which says finished at last. I had these printed out myself, just some little labels to go in my items. I think I got them from, I think it's called Wonder Label, W-U-N-D-R. I think they're based in Germany. If I can find the shop, I will link it down below. And you can basically upload any image, anything you want on it. They do all sorts of colours, fonts, pictures, anything. So it's good. It's nice to have some of your own little labels in your stash as well. Yeah, so there is my lyra shirt. All I did to make it into a shirt was extend the bodice. Nothing particularly fancy. I did make sure that I graded out. So if the bodice on the dress sort of finishes here, I made sure it went out a little bit just to accommodate the hips, because normally it would finish at your waist. So that wouldn't have gone over my hips. So yeah, and also I used bright pink overlocker for two reasons. Firstly, it's because it was what I had in my overlocker and I couldn't be bothered to change it. And also I like navy and pink together. That goes nicely. So that's that. So the reason I wanted to do another version of the lyra was because my children are being baptised end of February and I want to make a dress to wear to that. And I wanted to do the lyra dress, but obviously having to make some changes. So I'm just going to quickly segue into that, which I will talk more about in my next plans video, was the fabric that I wanted to use for it. And I put on my community tab that the fabric I had planned to use for it, I got from Rainbow Fabrics, and it's this. And it was marked as a viscose satin. And I didn't really inspect it any closer when it arrived. I washed it and then put it away. So it's beautiful animal print, really silky satin, and it's just a plain matte on the back. But when I looked at it closer, it's got stretch in it. It's got quite a bit of stretch actually. And I'm not really that sure that it would really work with the lyra. I'll show you how much stretch it's got. It's that way. It has got quite a bit of stretch to it, and I did wonder when it comes to doing the collar if that's going to cause a little bit of issue, because with the collar there is a bit of easing in to do. Is it all going to get a little bit too messy? Get quite a bit of puckering with that as well, I don't know. But I got some lovely responses on the community tab. Ruanne, the Yorkshire Sew girl, she replied saying it would probably be okay. Someone else replied saying they thought the same, but I'm just not confident enough with the lyra pattern yet to give that a shot, and because it would be quite a big undertaking to make a lyra, because all that gathering, I hate gathering. Really don't like it. I don't want to sort of invest all that time in cutting out the pattern pieces and then for the collar just to not work. Likewise, I don't want to cut into this fabric to do a test of the collar, because I think I've only got 3 meters, which would probably be just enough to do the lyra. So I did find in my stash this cotton lawn that I picked up at Goldhawk Road many years ago, I think about 4 years ago. It was in, I think, A1 Textiles, where they have big IKEA bags at the front of the shop where they have pre-cut lengths of fabric, usually like 2, 3 or 4 meters for a certain price. I think this was 3 meters for £20, something like that. Lovely soft cotton lawn, so I think I might go for that for my lyra. Anyway, I'm getting distracted by that. The last thing that I have been working on, and I have just finished making this morning, is my Persephone pants by Anna Allen. I shared in my last vlog and previously as well that I had some chunky navy cord that I wanted to make up into a pair of trousers, and I just couldn't decide which pattern to go for. It was either going to be the sunshine jeans, which I had previously made up using some denim, and I will insert a photo of those here, or the Persephone pants, which I have made before in denim as well, and I lengthened that pattern by a good 5 inches, so they were nice wide leg long trousers, and I'll insert a picture of those there. And I had some really helpful comments following on from that video Some people saying, yeah, go for the sunshine jeans, I think that would look great. And other people, particularly one lady, said, I don't think that the chunky cord would cope very well with the curves on the seams that you have in the sunshine jeans. And I'm really, really grateful to that lady. I will pop your name here because I did make a note of your name to say a big thank you to you for that comment. I'm really grateful that she said that because it was spot on. On the fly, where there is a slight curve, because of the very chunky nature of this cord, you can see, and it is quite bumpy. At some points it's quite difficult to even measure the seam allowance when you are folding things in, because you sort of have the big bumps of the wales and then a smaller bump, and then where was the actual fabric and what should I be working off. So I went for the Persephone pants for that reason, to have the straighter leg, a bit more streamlined, and I'm really, really pleased with them. I'll insert some photos that I took this morning of them. I find it quite hard to take pictures of trousers. I included a really lovely little animal print button, which I've had in my stash for ages. Yeah, so nice animal print button. I have done the original length, which is sort of like an ankle grazer length. I thought I'll just go for it, see how it goes, but I'm really pleased with the fit. I think the Persephone pants fit me really well. I don't have to make any adjustments. So to give you an idea of the sort of ratio, and they are quite high-waisted. They're meant to finish an inch above your belly button. So for me, my natural waist is 30 and my hips at the fullest area are 39. So there's about a 9-inch difference there. So that's the sort of block that they use, but it fits me really well and they're really comfy. So very pleased with those. One thing I would say about the Persephone pants is I bought the zip extension pack. So originally they come with buttons, so you do a button fly, but I prefer a zip for trousers. I don't like all that fiddling around with buttons. So I paid to get the zip extension pack, and if you were considering to do that, I would say possibly don't bother, because I don't think the instructions are very clear and I don't really like how it comes together that well. I used the extension pack for the first pair that I made, and I did sort of think, this isn't the best way to do a zip. It's not very clearly explained. So I would say probably just find an alternative. If you've got a jeans pattern or a pants pattern, you can even find like Karina from Lifting Pins and Needles. She talks you through every step of how to insert a zip fly and probably how to draft one as well. So I wouldn't buy the expansion pack. I don't really recommend it. I don't think it's very well written for the instructions. So that is me for today. I can't think of anything else that I wanted to mention. Let me know down below if you wanted me to do any sort of questions and answers. Anything you wanted to know about me, my sewing, etc. Again, thank you so much to everyone that has subscribed. It really is wonderful. I know it doesn't sound like much to subscribe to someone's channel, but it really does make a difference. It's lovely to have you along. So wherever you are, whatever you are doing, I hope you are well. I hope you are okay. And I will see you again next time, probably in a couple of weeks, for a plans video. Take care and happy sewing. Bye.